Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video, a European night is upon us, but it isn't just a regular European night. Nah, frickin' nah. It is a European night that might just see Rangers qualify from the group of death. But before we go any further on with today's video, a special shout out to the absolute legends One Football. As always, their link will be down there in the description below. They are the channel sponsors. They are helping the channel apart from the green logo, which we've spoken about. But I'm hoping and praying for a Mandarin one for Christmas. But there is a massive game ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen, so let's focus on that. And as always, we're going to start off with the opposition preview, and we have a Feyenoord team that's led by Dick. I heard it after I said it. However, if that wasn't enough of a spicy addition to an already massive fixture because of the past that we have with Dick Advocaat, obviously a former Rangers manager winning a lot of things during his time here, bringing in a lot of great Dutch players. Now, I know he did let George Alberts go, so there's that 50-50 divide when it comes to Dick. But also, a couple of years on after he left Rangers, we faced him in 2008. And we all know what happened. As if all that wasn't enough, there's an additional spice because since Dick Advocaat has been installed as the Feyenoord coach, they are currently undefeated and we have a chance to stop his undefeated run. And that's one of the main things that's been currently clickbaited about this tie. Dick Advocaat undefeated, and that makes you sound like they are slapping teams left, right and centre and they're just being an absolute juggernaut. But when you look beyond the clickbait, they sit with 4 games played, 2 wins and 2 draws. And what's really strange about this Feyenoord team, they have sort of turned things around. Again, 4 games undefeated, but when you look at it, not a lot has actually changed, especially the personnel that's getting played. The 11 is pretty much the exact same 11 that was playing week in and week out under Stam, yet under Dick Advocaat, things have turned around and they went on a little run. But in doing my notes for today's video and going back and checking all the Feyenoord games and how it sort of broke down and how they've lined up, there has been one slight little change to the way that they set up compared to the last time that we played them at Ibrox and beat them 1-0 thanks to a scream dream from Ojo. They were playing a sort of 4-2-3-1 with 2 holding midfield players and they just kind of let everyone else do what they want. We kind of saw that with our own eyes. Well, believe it or not, they've actually changed to a more aggressive 4-3-3 where the one man's in the middle of the park and everyone else just does what they want. And if I'm honest with you, it is pretty much working. This aggressive formation that's been set up by Dick Advocaat is getting goals. They're dominating teams and dominating shots on targets. However, as they are even more aggressive, that defence, which wasn't great even with the 2 centre defensive mids protecting it, is a lot weaker now and they are conceding a hell of a lot of goals. And that's backed up when you're looking at the 4 games that's been played under Dick Advocaat. They've only kept a clean sheet in 1 game, which was against 10 men, by the way, but in the other 3 games that they've played, they've conceded 4 goals. It's definitely still a weak point for the squad. And I felt like it was important to mention that because a lot's been made of the undefeated Feyenoord under Dick Advocaat playing against Rangers and the narrative's built around that. But when you look into it, they aren't slapping teams, so there's still definitely a chance for Glasgow Rangers because we shouldn't fear anyone anymore. It's no, they're up there and we're down here. We've proved now we belong with the teams that we're up against. So I didn't really understand the narrative that's trying to be pushed that we should be scared of a Dick Advocaat team. Yes, they are good going forward, but it's the same Feyenoord team that we bet a couple weeks ago under Jaap Stam, and they've still got the same weakness, which is their defence. And that's pretty much it for the preview of the opposition for the old Feyenoord, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, the first time we've done this for the home tie versus them, there was a hell of a lot more detail and depth in the old preview, but we've saw now with our own eyes. I know a lot of you guys tune into each and every single video, so I didn't want to break it down and bore you guys by reading out the exact same notes. We know what their strengths and their weaknesses are. We've saw that and we've discussed the slight little change that's been made under Dick Advocaat. I am in no way trying to say this is a bad football team. They are still a cracking side with truly top class players, especially out in the wings. They frighten me every time I look at them. It's unbelievable the amount of penetration they get just from the wing position alone, and our fullbacks once again are going to have to be at their top to stop them, and that's going to be something else we discuss later on in today's video because one of our fullbacks might be out. And that right there is a perfect opportunity and a perfect chance to jump from speaking about Feyenoord to speak about what matters most, and that is Rangers. And going into this game of football against tomorrow's opposition, Rangers actually sit 3 points clear, sitting in second place, knowing a win if Porto lose, will see them qualify for the knockouts. However, I feel like it's worth mentioning, and in fact it's important to mention the fact that Rangers didn't need to just win to qualify. They can qualify with a draw depending on the result between Young Boys and Porto. If Porto lose that game, Rangers are through because of the way the Europa League works with the old head-to-head. So there's so many layers going into this game of football when you think about it, and Gerrard has a lot to go through because there's two ways you could set up. You could go gung-ho and go after their weak defence, which we've already broken down as clearly their weakest point, and try and get that win. Or do you play a bit more cautiously and make sure you didn't lose the game, because as long as you didn't lose the game, there's still a chance to qualify. And that leads us perfectly over to the Rangers press conference, because you go in expecting maybe a hint to the way Rangers were going to set up. But as always, Gerrard is ice, cool, calm and collected, and Disney give anything away. In fact, the only things he did talk about regarding the subject that we are talking about is he wants his players to be very brave, especially early on. And he did mention the fact that it's going to be a different challenge and perhaps an even tougher challenge than the first time we played Feyenoord. And that was it from Steven Gerrard. He is not letting anyone know whether it's the cautious Rangers setup or the more gun-ho, let's go ahead and beat them setup, as always, for the gaffer. And that leads us perfectly to the first question of today's episode. That's right, you already know it's coming. We didn't get any answers for the gaffer, Mr. Steven Gerrard, but as fans, let's give our thoughts and opinions on how Rangers should set up. Should it be go for it because they are weak defensively, get in their faces because we saw in the first game they didn't like that? Or do you think we should play more cautiously and maybe try and hit them on the break and make sure we didn't lose it? Honestly, in my head, there's so many possibilities and scenarios and what ifs going around. My arse is playing the drums like Ringo in his prime. But honestly, I can't wait to see what you guys are going to be saying down there in the comment section. So let's talk about the game tomorrow. Right, let's dive into some team news then, shall we? Now, you might have noticed the last few times, if you watch these previews, I've been grinning from ear to ear whenever I reach this point, because we have not had one single player injured, and it's been phenomenal. It's the first time in a very long time that's ever happened. Unfortunately, today is the day that all stops, as we have two other injury updates to give you regarding Bonnebear Barisic and Jermaine Defoe. And starting off with the fullback that we mentioned earlier on in today's video, which could be a key thing going into this game. Do not understate the importance of missing a fullback, because this is how Feyenoord play. This is literally it. It's always in the wings, and whoever we pick at fullback is going to be pretty damn busy. Well, Steven Gerrard during this week's press conference let us know that Barisic did take a couple of heavy knocks on Sunday. I mean, we saw that with our own eyes. Hamilton were not shy in leaving the boot for Mr. BB, and right now it's touch and go whether or not he will be a part of the game tomorrow. And as I said, this could be absolutely massive, but it could also be an incredible opportunity for John Flanagan to throw his name back in for the starters, because we know he's a bit more defensive than any other full-backs, and he's a bit of a defensive shithousery king. Could this game coming up tomorrow reignite John Flanagan's Rangers career? It's an interesting one, lads. I want to know your thoughts and opinions. Are you worried whether or not BB isn't starting the game? Do you think John Flanagan is a capable replacement? Now, the second injury is someone I don't think any of us really expected to start the game. However, I think it's still a bitter blow, because Jermaine Defoe always adds something whenever he comes on. It's a different dynamic no matter what time on the clock he comes. He's always a danger man, but it's been confirmed by Steven Gerrard that he picked up a little bit of a knock in training and he will be definitely missing tomorrow's game. However, it can't be that serious, because Gerrard refused to rule out him being fit for the weekend. So it's one of those ones. I think it's just going to be a couple of days thing, and fingers crossed that he's back for the weekend. But with Jermaine Defoe ruled out, at least we know 100% now that Alfredo Morelos will be given an opportunity and a chance to increase on his impressive, in fact unbelievable, goal tally in European football, which sits with 11 goals in just 12 games. There's no wonder he's always up there in the top 5 strikers for the Europa League. And with all that being said, that is the press conference, that is the preview, and that is the latest team news wrapped up in a neat little bow. Hopefully that helps you guys now that you know a little bit more about the fixture tomorrow with your old prediction on. And while you guys get your thoughts and opinions out there, I will give you mine very briefly. I'm expecting nippy bum time, the nippiest of all nips, but I really believe Rangers will win this game, because I look at that defence and I see it pretty leaky. I think it's going to be a back and forth style game. I'm seeing a lot of goals in this game, but I think we are going to rally and we're going to come away with a 3-2 win. Honestly, I'm expecting 5 goals in the game. My goal scorers for the game is going to be an Alfredo Morelos dirty double. You already know that clicking on today's video. But my other goal scorer is going to be the man of the weekend, and that is none other than Ryan frickin' Kent. I think this is the game that announces himself on the score sheet for European football. And now that me and thee have had their say, let's sit back and relax and hear from the people on Twitter. There's been 1,189 votes. Thank you so much for getting involved. 5% votes for Feyenoord, 17% votes for the draw. But, and a very, very impressively high 79% of the people votes for a Rangers win. I love to see that. The first one comes in from Fares Akram, and he writes in, got a bad feeling about this one, not going to lie. I'm going to go 1-1. Thomas Lee writes in 2-0 win for Glasgow Rangers. The first one being Alfredo and the second goal coming from Ryan Kent. Jude writes in, it'll be a different side with Dick Advocaat as the manager, but I'll be confident we'll pull through and get the win. 2-1. Bob Steele writes in, I was going to say 1-1 but slipped up and told Baz 2-2 the other day, so I'm sticking with that. Much would rather the away win. Of course, I think we all would there, Bob. Jordan writes in 1-0, another Ojo banger. I love to see some Ojo love. Stuart Ward writes in 2-1 to Rangers, Tavernier and Morelos. See, no, what Tavernier love. Cairo writes in 1-0. Who else but the Buffalo? Craig writes in 2-1 with Morelos and Ryan Jack. And the last two or three that we'll read out, the first one comes in from Loki Logan, and he writes in 2-1 Rangers. Think Mr. Advocaat will help us out. Wish he helped us out in 2008. Lewis writes in, Rangers 2-1, Golden header early in the game, Berghaus equaliser, but in the last minute a Ryan Kent goal. And the last one we'll read out, scroll all the way down at the bottom. The latest one, it's just came in, and that comes in from Dylan Gibson, and he writes in Rangers 2-1, Morelos and big Ryan Jack on the score sheet. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You've heard from the people, you've heard from myself. If you haven't done so already, feel free to get involved in the comment section. It's always great to discuss the old game with the nation. But as always, I've been CJ Over 92. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.